Hi everyone, in this next video let's talk about electrical service and how that electricity gets to your kitchen, and we'll be more specific about electrical outlets. So in general, for your residential projects, your power is going to come in from a power line, or possibly we'll have an underground service over here, and it will come into your house, run through an electric meter, and come into your electrical panel. That will look something like this. This will be your main panel. If you have a larger house or the main panel has been added onto, you might also have some branch panels. All right. Each one of these main panels will have smaller circuits, okay? And each one of those will have a circuit breaker in this slot right here. Okay. The electricity is going to come into your house, come through the panel, and then to your kitchen. Many individual circuits will service your kitchen or your bathroom, okay? Your general lighting circuit often serves the entire house, or it might be broken up into smaller zones of the house that would include your kitchen. And very often all of the wall receptacles or wall outlets in your house might be on one circuit, or again, they might be broken down into different zones, especially in the larger houses. You'll have specifically for a kitchen a small appliance circuit, and that will be for all your kind of plug-in appliances and your countertop receptacles. Your larger appliances will each need their own dedicated circuit. That's typically your refrigerator and your stove and your dishwasher. Okay. And you also may have some GFCI circuits, and we'll talk about those in a few minutes. Electrical outlets. All right, we all know what they are. We use them every day, but there is a special term for them, and that is receptacle. So we'll use those interchangeably in this course. So if you hear a receptacle, all right, just think of it as a fancy vocabulary word for an electrical outlet. And just so we're all on the same page, we're talking about these right here, okay? um, so your electrical outlets are going to be placed on the wall of your home, and they're typically 12 inches on center above your floor. Okay, they could be placed at 15 or at 18. And the countertop outlets are really up to you. You can, let's see, what do they say here? Roughly 4 feet is common, a little bit lower, 3 foot 6 inches for accessibility. Okay, but honestly, it's up to you as the designer if you want to place them in the backsplash, so just above the countertop, if you want to place them in a wire mold that's just under the upper cabs, if you want to center them, if you that vertical placement is up to you as the designer. So how do we draw these outlets on our mechanical plan? Well, the symbols look like this, all right, and this is in your design presentation textbook. Your standard duplex receptacle looks like this, okay? Looks like a circle. It's got two lines like little prongs, like it's plugging in, okay? And the wall will be right here, okay? And so we'll see an example of it right here. This one happens to be a GFI outlet, okay? But it's a circle and it's got the two prongs. That's a duplex outlet, okay? Other ones do exist. Here's a single receptacle, usually for a dedicated fixture, excuse me, appliance. Here's a quad. You can see it looks a little bit different. Here are some specialty connections. And when you put this little triangle specialty connection, you're going to add a little tag that tells what that's for. And then that will go, of course, in the legend so you can explain what that's for. Another one is a GFI outlet, ground fault interrupter, and we'll go over that in just a second. Okay. And so very typically you will have your regular outlet symbol, and you'll indicate using a little tag or something its height and its type. So let's talk about those GFCI outlets, and sometimes they're called GFI, but GFCI is the newer term. It's ground fault circuit interrupter, all right? And it senses when a current is accidentally running through a person and trips a circuit, cuts off the power. So it's a safety device. There's two ways to do it. You can have a GFCI breaker in the panel for that circuit, or you can have a GFCI receptacle. Okay, so you might see an outlet in the wall and think, oh, that should be GFI. Is it? I don't know. You'll have to go check the circuit panel. So these GFCI outlets are important to us kitchen and bath designers because where are they required? They're required in all wet locations. For residential occupancies, which we're mostly concerned with in this class, every outlet in bathrooms, garages, outdoors, any crawl spaces and unfinished basements, all kitchen countertops, but not necessarily other locations in a kitchen. Within 3 foot of the outside edge of any sinks, bathrooms, or shower stalls, and in all laundry areas, GFCI is required. Okay. For commercial occupancies, you need them in bathrooms, kitchens, rooftops, outdoor. All right, so just in general, if it's possible to be wet in that location, you need to be GFCI protected. Here's a picture over here of what that outlet might look like and what that breaker might look like. All right, so now that we've learned how to draw the outlets on our plans, let's take a look at our example plan. This one is our bathroom. You can see that there are some outlets here, here, and here. Okay, so you can see this one is turned because it's in this wall. Okay, so you go ahead and turn the symbol so that it plugs into whatever wall that you're on. Here's one right here. And you can see that these are different types with different tags on them. And so you would come over here to the legend and you'd read all about that particular type. One of them has a USB port. One of them is specifically 18 inches above finished floor. And then there's a note that all switches and receptacles are mounted. I can't quite read it, but it gives a specific height. And so you're going to want to put this in your legend. Everything will be at a specific height unless otherwise noted. And then you have to go and note anything that is not going to be at that particular height. Moving on to our second example, here's our kitchen. So the kitchen electrical plan tends to be much more complicated, all right? It's just the nature of the job. So we can see that there are multiple outlets all along these walls here. Okay, I'm going to zoom in on that section. Okay, so we have kind of this top upper section, upper right section. And for this plan, we've got countertop outlets. This one's a countertop outlet, and here's another, and here's another. And then we've got the specialty outlets that are for the appliances. And so that would be this one with the little triangle, and then it's got a little tag there. If it were a better resolution image, I could tell you what that says, but I can't. And here's a couple more right here. All right, so you can tell that we use multiple different outlet symbols in our plans. All right, the one piece of this that we haven't talked about yet is where you're required to place these outlets. It turns out that that's fairly complicated. So we're going to cover that in our next video. Thanks, everyone.